Welcome to This Organized Life. If you're a mom, wife, or coffee lover seeking advice on how to reduce clutter and reclaim time, look no further than your host, Laurie, founder of Simply Be Organized and author of Hot Mess, a practical guide to getting organized. For a lot of people, clutter is their dirty little secret, but it doesn't have to be. Each week, we will share practical tips, chat with experts, and provide strategies on how to keep you organized. I hope that by sharing our stories, you feel a little less alone and more empowered to tackle the areas that are holding you back. So let's get started!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of This Organized Life. I'm your host, Laurie. So happy that you're here. I can't believe we are wrapping up April. I don't know about you, but I don't know where the first few months of this year went. It's just kind of all been a blur. So if you are with me on that, welcome to the crazy club. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you guys know that we have opened up our doors for our clutter coaching. And we've got a few different ways that we're going to be working with people on this. Some of the biggest feedback that I've been getting from people is really wanting to hone in on their specific strategies that can resonate with them. A lot of the stuff that we've been doing with the Enneagram, helping people understand where their own individual roadblocks are, is really been transformational and helping people to kind of get past their own clutter struggles. So we have a couple different ways that we are working with people. I'm going to drop a link below. So depending on your budget and depending on what your needs are and your goals are, we have a suite of different offerings in our clutter coaching realm that are here for you. So definitely check out the link in the show notes. You can always visit our website, simply the letter B like boy organized. And just click on the work with me tab, but I will drop the link there for all of you. Now, on to today's episode. So we've been talking a lot about spring cleaning, and one of the areas that I want to focus in today is about digital clutter. And I know that that is an entity like a mountain onto itself. And there's so many different aspects when people think about digital clutter. You can be talking about email, you could be talking about your computer files. You could be talking about your photos and videos on your devices. It could be social media. There's so many different areas that encompass digital clutter. And the way I want to approach today so that it doesn't add to the already feelings of overwhelm that this topic has for us is to I'm looking at four different specific pain points that come from any of these types of digital clutter, and our specific solutions that we have, or some solutions that you can start to implement if you are experiencing any of these pain points. Sound good? All right. Love this. All right, guys. So the first one is distraction. Now, we know, just like physical clutter can be distracting, digital clutter, whether it is unorganized files, lots of emails, notifications going off, can divert our attention from the stuff that we're trying to do. And so if you're constantly switching between tasks and tabs, and you hear pings or buzzes or alarms going off, that disrupts our workflow. It's just a proven, again, like neuroscience, and I'm not a science person at all, but it is proven to kind of break the patterns of our brains, and we can't unsee it, right? You can't unsee, or you can't unhear that text notification or that little ding that a new email just came in. And so this lack of focus can actually lead to a decrease in your cognitive performance, meaning your productivity and your ability to do things well and efficiently. So, if we want to try to reduce that pain point, what can we do? One of the simplest things, and I know it's one of those, it's simple, but it's hard because we all are in this world where we want to have immediate, like, We want to be in the know all the time. But one of the best things that you can do is turn off your notifications, turn them off on your computer. You can turn them off on your devices, and set very specific, like designated times to check things, whether that's you're checking your email or you're checking social media, whatever it is. And I'm not here to say you should, go off all social media. You should go, like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying you should delete every app off your phone. Like, that's extreme, and that's not me. So I'm not going to ever tell you to do that. But what I am going to recommend, and this is something that I do, is I have all my notifications off on my social media. So I will go in on my time and decide when I have a pocket to check them. And I will go in there, and then maybe there'll be messages or a comment or somebody engaged on our social media and I want to respond to it. I will do that on my time. We somewhere along the way, it got the chain of communication got broken down, and we all of a sudden felt like we had to respond in real time, or we were going to like lose an opportunity. Somebody was going to go somewhere else, or someone was going to get mad at us. That's not the case. We have to lead by example and set healthy boundaries. So, turning off notifications is one of the simplest yet hard things that you can do to start practicing that space and protecting your boundaries. On my computer, it's great because I'm not constantly, if I'm working on something, I'm not constantly getting distracted because I hear my email refresh. And if I'm looking for something, I know I will go in and, you know, check periodically for it, but I am not at the beck and call of that notification. So I encourage you to turn off your notifications and then set times in your day that you're going to check your email, you're going to check your social media. And other than that, you are now in control. You're back in the driver's seat versus letting your email or social media or whatever distractions control you. Right. And that can go for if you're in a Slack channel or any other communication. Okay, doke. All right. So that's number one. Point number two, or the stressor number two, is feelings of overwhelm. Now, let's be honest, people. There's more communication coming at us than our brains are able to comprehend, right? We have 24/7, we have a running ticker tape. There's a 24/7 news outlet, and we are walking around with a computer in our hands. We are, in contact um, with everything, all unlimited information. And that in and of itself is overwhelming. Not to mention, again, emails, bookmarks, tabs, all these things that are open on our computers, on our devices. And just the thought of walking in, and I don't know if your computer's like this, but if you walk in and you see like 25 tabs open, and every time you open another tab, it gets a little bit smaller, smaller, smaller until you basically have like a thumbnail because you have so many tabs open. And oftentimes our brains feel like those open tabs, right? So we are just overwhelmed. And then you have that digital clutter that we're just like, let me open one more tab. We've got decision fatigue and procrastination, and we're like squirrel. We're looking here, we're looking there, and we don't know where to focus first. So what do? In addition to the turning off of the notifications, what are some other strategies? Well, first and foremost, you can time block your day. Now, I talk a lot about time blocking here, guys. Time blocking is about looking at all the things that you need to do in a day and chunking your time into different pockets so that you're focusing on this project here, you're checking email here, you're working on this, different things at different times. So you can time block your day. The second thing is you can close any tabs that that you're not using. So there's this false sense of security that I think a lot of people have where it's like, well, if I leave the tab open, I'll remember it. And I think about if you were to have mail and you had all these bills, okay? So every time you get a bill, you put it on the counter. And then the next day, another bill comes in. And you say, okay, I'm going to put it on the counter. But instead of like all just putting like a file of bills, I'm just going to set it next to it. And then the next day, another bill comes in. And then you get an invitation to something that you have to RSVP to. So all of these things, instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to like put them in a pile or I'm going to just write myself a note about it, I'm going to lay them all out on the counter until I can get to them. That is essentially what we are doing when we have all of these open tabs on our computer. So I encourage you to keep the tabs open of the things that you are working on today. And if you're not working on it, I have in my to-do list, and I've talked about this, and we're not going to delve into that on this episode, but have yourself a note, update this, go to, whatever it is on your to-do list that with those open tabs. Don't forget to register for blah, 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 blah. Sign up for this conference. But you don't have to keep all of those reminders open because all it is just visual. It's visual and digital clutter. So just close them out. And then again, you can, if there's things that you have like subscriptions and things that you're not using, just get rid of them. That will all help you with reducing your overwhelm. All right. Next up, decreased efficiency. Oh, guys, this is like multitasking, which we all know, unless you're an Enneagram 3, you don't get a pass for multitasking because, as I've said before, 3s have this incredible superpower where they are the the exception to the rule of multitasking and being efficient. So when you have a cluttered digital environment, searching for files and looking for emails is just a waste of your time. So when we are talking about how can we streamline the things, how can we be more efficient with finding what we're looking for? How many versions? I remember when I was writing my book, I had like 1,000 different versions. Well, not 1,000, but I literally had like 5 different versions of certain chapters. And if it wasn't organized, it was inefficient for me to find what I was looking for. And the same holds true with all of your digital files. So if you are saving things that are old, it just not only takes up the bandwidth, your megabytes or whatever on your computer, but it makes it harder to find what you're looking for. So many times people are scrolling through emails, they're not searching efficiently. And so the time suck to find what you're looking for. Remember what I talk about when it comes to an organized physical space is we're always talking about the ease of retrieval. How quickly can I find what I'm looking for? And our digital lives are oftentimes a hot flippin' mess. So even if our physical spaces are organized, our digital lives are just a train wreck. And again, that can go through with our photos, that can go through with our emails, that can pertain to our files. But one of the things in particular when it comes to our files is couple things that you can do. First of all, is rename them. And this is a big thing like with Zoom specifically. If you've ever recorded something for Zoom and it just records and it'll say like, it doesn't give you the name. It'll say like just like a, Zoom 12345 file. Rename it. Because what happens is if you are saving it and you are going to need to access it, if it's not named something that is going to be identifying for you, then it's going to be really, really difficult for you to find it. Not impossible, but it's going to be really difficult. So take that extra time to rename a file. And if you are updating a document, whatever it looks like, update it, rename the file to something that is going to be easily identifiable for you when you need to find it. Now, the second thing is about making it efficient for not just yourself, but if you are collaborating with other people, um, is to use a shared cloud-based storage software or program like Dropbox or Google Drive. Now, not only does that help with efficiency, but it actually helps with your storage space because our computers, again, can only hold so much. And if you've ever, and I've done an episode about this, if you've ever been in a situation where you're like, oh, I'm out of storage, I can't save this document, or I can't upload this, video or picture or whatever because I'm out of storage, that's a problem. And I've been there and it usually happens when you need it most. So one of the ways that you can avoid this is by specifically with your files is moving things over to Dropbox or moving things over to Google Drive. And I'm not paid by either one of these guys, but it's a way for you to get that stuff off your computer and onto a safer location that you can easily collaborate with other people. And it's super simple. And there's so many different options for people depending on what your needs are and your price point. But really, that's one of my biggest things, especially when I work with entrepreneurs or I'm helping somebody in their business, that using one of those platforms is really critical. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is increased stress. So the presence of digital clutter in and of itself can just add, like, send our cortisol through the roof. Knowing that you've got unanswered emails and all these files, or maybe you're the type of person that tries to play whack-a-mole with your emails, which is not me, right? I actually am not a zero inbox person at all, which may come as a surprise to a lot of you because I think a lot of people would think, oh, she's a professional organizer. Oh, she doesn't like clutter. She's not going to have email clutter. Well, I don't. To me, I used to try to keep a zero inbox, and it was so exhausting for me that I would get to the point of I'm zeroing out my inbox by the end of the day. And that next thing, I would wake up and I would have hundreds of other emails, whether it was junk emails, work emails, emails about the kids, whatever it was. And I was like, there's got to be another way because is this is like a losing battle. So I actually came in contact with, I was introduced to a company called Clean Email. And I love them. I'm going to talk to you about them for a minute. So Clean Email is a service that allows you, it syncs up with whatever your email system is, and it's completely privacy protected, right? They're very big on that. They don't sell your data, nothing. All your stuff is super safe. And I can set in parameters. So you can set whatever parameters you want. For me, one of the biggest things was I scan my emails and I don't like delete as I go along. I just scan them and I'll read the ones that are most important to myself. So what happens is I have hundreds of unread emails, but they're just junk. So I set a parameter that if an email is older than 30 days, auto delete it. Because if it's something that was important, the people would email me back. So let's say I accidentally let something fall through the cracks, which has happened periodically, not often, but periodically. The person will email me, or nowadays they'll just text me and be like, hey, did you get my email? So I have this filter set, auto delete any unread emails that are older than 30 days. I set that parameter up, people, and as soon as it started to calculate, it deleted thousands of emails like crazy because I had so many unread emails, and which I know might sound shocking for a professional organizer, but it allowed me to keep my inbox at a manageable level without me having to be the one in the driver's seat. It automated the whole cleaning of my inbox. It also has other capabilities like unsubscribing. You could put things in folders. I personally am not a huge fan of email folders because to me, I put an email in a folder and then it like goes there to die and I forget about it. But you can create folders. You can hide certain notifications. There's so many options that you can do to help automate the cleaning and the efficiency of your inbox. So, really, I've been using them for over a year, and I can't tell you the freedom that comes from my organized inbox that I could see. And if there's ever anything that I was looking for, and I'm like, I wonder where it is, I can just log in and see if I accidentally deleted it or missed it. It's so, so great. So, if that's something that you're interested in, guys, I'm going to put a promo because we are actually doing a partnership with Clean Email. And you could try it 100% for free, right? 100% for free. Just go to cleanemail.com/organized. You can try it out. But if you decide that you want to go and like upgrade to their paid version off of the free version, they're offering all of our This Organized Life subscribers 30% off, which is huge, great deal. And you think about what your clutter is costing you. And if you were to sit there and spend the time cleaning it out manually, what is that costing you in terms of time, in terms of stress, in terms of efficiency, in terms of overwhelm, all of these things. So don't take my word for it. Go and check it out for yourself, because if email clutter is something that is stressing you out or holding you back, one of the best things that you can do is find a system that works for you. So that's a system that I found. It's a system that worked for me. You guys know I don't endorse programs and services if I don't use them and like them. And so this is one that I've been testing out for a while, and I can tell you, I don't miss one single email that has gotten deleted or archived. So it was a game changer in my life. The one thing I want to say is that digital communication, we know, can be both a blessing and a burden, right? It's a way for us to feel connected to other people, but we also have to protect our boundaries and our time of when, where, and how these people are getting access to us and how we are giving our own access to other people. Knowing that we have seasons where we're going to be busy, other seasons where we're going to be able to rest and recharge should give you some peace of mind. But I think it's really important for each of us to be proactive in how our digital devices play a role in our ability to live an organized life. So I hope this helps. Again, check out a link below in our show notes or for wherever you're listening or watching on YouTube. If you want to check out Clean Email, and of course, you can check out all the other things, Google Drive, Dropbox, all those good things that we've talked about that can help you with your digital spring cleaning. So until next week, I'm Laurie Plow. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please spread the love and share it with your friends. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure to click the subscribe button wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, please leave us a review so other people know that our show is worth a listen. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at This Organized Life Podcast. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can head on over to our website at simply the letter B like boy organized.com, which is filled with tons of resources, including free downloads, checklists, links to our amazing organizing partners, and all of our digital offerings. I'll see you next week for another episode of This Organized Life.